Bonjour, aujourd'hui c'est Blog Day 964.
That's wow. It has even hairy microphone.
Yeah, it's a hairy microphone.
Even hairy microphone.
Hi. Good morning. I guess I don't know how to start this one today. Today's vlog is a little bit different because Happy International Women's Day. These beautiful women you've seen in the vlog at one point or another. They all come from different nations. I'm going to get out of this. I want them to talk because one of the things that I get asked all the time is whether Paris is safe for women or not. And I don't particularly find myself to be the most appropriate person to answer that question. So I never really do. I have my own short little answers that I give with disclaimers. But instead of doing that, I thought we would I would let you guys talk about that today a little bit, and I'll get out of here. We're also doing a giveaway of this one's book. This one just made it to the New York Times bestsellers list again, just to brag for a moment.
Yay.
This one's doing a giveaway of her book that will give you one of hers, what my girlfriend told me shortly, which you've also seen on the vlog before, and we'll facilitate that at the end, but I'm going to get out of here now.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I am originally from Novi Sad in Serbia, and I've been here for over 7 years now.
My name's Emily. I'm from the US, from Maine, and I've been here for 4 years.
Hi, I'm Natasha. I have been here for just under 2 years, and I'm from London.
We'll just start with that question. Is Paris safe for women?
Yeah, I would say yeah. Yes. As safe as anywhere,
Like any big city.
like any big city.
Yeah. You need to be smart, but like you need to be smart in life generally. So I don't think you should just be curious, but like you should know your limits, and you should be cautious and look around. But I'm hoping you're doing that wherever you're living.
That being said, you can of course do that and still
Absolutely, yeah.
be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. Something could happen. I mean, you could get totally wasted every night and wander home alone for hours and have nothing happen to you, and you could just be, I don't know, walking your dog totally sober for 20 minutes and something could happen. But I've generally, I've lived here for 4 years and I've been lucky enough not to have any real physical altercations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always words and grunts and gestures and things like that. I think the worst one happened once when I was actually giving a tour. This guy just wanted to talk to me and I just said, no, thanks, I'm good. And he proceeded to verbally assault me.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully it was all in French, so none of my tourists understood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I did get a little worked up and tell him to dégage. And then we just sort of biked away, but you know.
Yeah. I think I've never felt unsafe, but uncomfortable, very often. And I think, to be fair, I do not have the best experience because I've lived in 2 areas in the 19th, which are not the nicest area, shall we say. And it's definitely been daily instances of this. I'll just walk down the street and I'll be so fed up by the time I get to the metro. But I've been grabbed a couple of times, but I've never felt unsafe, if that makes sense. And also a lot of these things are in the daytime, but
yeah, Paris is a very well lit city, generally, overall, so at night it doesn't necessarily feel less safe than the day. That's funny, I lived up at Cuné.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I used to.
And whenever I would say that to people, they would go, oh, be careful, and I was
fine.
always getting home late, and I never...
Oh yeah, I get
never
home
had
at
an
2, 3, walking on my own every time. Never had an issue, but definitely have been uncomfortable. Yeah.
But I also found that there was something where there were always more people in the street in that area than there are in the center of town by Notre Dame, and all the bodegas down the street were open till 2 a.m.
Or in
so I would pop in.
Or in Marais. At night,
it's
there's
deserted.
no one here.
It's deserted.
Yeah.
What do you do when someone, in these situations, how do you handle it?
First thing I realized that I have a very deep line on my forehead because I think I'm walking down the street looking like I'm very unhappy, and I think that saved me so many times, so many unpleasant situations. The worst that happened to me, but that was some dude was he asked me why am I staring at him? I didn't even saw that he passed next to me, and I was on the stairs and he pulled my hood. And I was like, whoa, this is a very dark alley and you shouldn't be doing this to women. And I just I turned off. I was just I wasn't looking at you. And then he was like, where are you from? But it was more you're racist, and I didn't even look at him. It's just he was trying to get into a fight basically. But it wasn't things like that can happen anywhere. You just find a idiot that is unhappy and he's gonna be oh yeah, let's go get into a fight. If you're fighting with ladies, then you have a problem here. But it's hard what you can say to stop that. Sometimes things just happen, but if you're being, as I mentioned, precautious, if you're being present and know, just don't walk in the streets like alone when you know where it's unsafe per se, right? So I would say, I mean, I live in a neighborhood where it's safe because like I always say my neighborhood, like when I walk out of the apartment or when I'm walking back home, if I'm walking back at 2 a.m., I know there's going to be at least 3 people in the street if something happens, like, or if someone happens, I know that I can actually react and be like, scream or like do whatever I would do wherever I would do that. I mean, that can happen anywhere, as we said.
I think when I'm uncomfortable, I'll either duck into a shop or something, especially if I'm in my own neighborhood and it's like a shopkeeper
I've done
that I
that
know.
too, away from people
Someone
who
that's
are
I know
harassing
is
me,
nice.
yeah.
Other times when people have spoken, and sometimes it ranges from like an old creeper to like, I don't know, like a young handsome college kid, and you're like taken aback but also offended. And I find in those circumstances, if they talk to me, I will look them in the eyes. And if they had some sort of compliment, even though it's harassment, not a compliment, I will just say thank you and walk away, as opposed to fighting back. Because when you start to fight back, and then it turns into a whole thing. And so it's just like accept it and move on. And if there's someone behind me on the street, even if I don't know if it's a man or a woman, I will generally
Stop.
I'll cross. But I try to see who it is before I cross to sort of catch myself. It's like, why am I crossing? To try to call myself out of my own bullshit too. Like, is it a man? Is it a woman?
Yeah.
Where
Like,
is this person from? I assess myself.
Sometimes I get on the phone, like I just call someone or I call my boyfriend.
And I've heard that can be
Yeah.
Oh, I just
bad,
think
too.
everything can.
I don't actually know.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, just if someone is bothering me, and I will just like, oh, I have a call, and like, I don't know. I've had to move many times. I used to sit out on the canal by Creme in the daytime.
That's
I remember
great.
one time I went out to read.
It's a racist paradise.
Oh yeah, I went out to read and I had to move 4 times because guys just came and they sat with me and they were talking at me and it was just, I was so frustrated. I went home after like half an hour and I was screaming at my boyfriend like I couldn't do anything. But actually what I do is I just have headphones when I walk around and even though guys speak to me, even if I don't have music on, I just kind of
I
act
agree.
like I haven't heard them
Yeah.
and most of the time, you know, whatever, they'll just
I
start
agree with
screaming at me.
Natasha. Yeah,
Ignore them.
I just ignore them because if you
engage,
they were gonna be like, oh, okay, where are you from? And I'm like,
Where are you from? Is
Yeah,
your favorite
yeah.
question.
I'm like-
What's your name?
yeah, and I'm like, why would I talk to you? Like, does this ever work? You want to
Yeah,
go out
yeah,
with me?
yeah.
No, of course not. Why would I go out with
Yeah.
you? Who are you? You're just like following me in the street. It's weird.
But
No?
what you said about sitting on the canal, because you just want to sit, right?
Yeah, and it's the middle of the day.
There was,
Sunshine.
actually just a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
there was an SNL skit about getting harassed, and it was like a fake urn you could bring with you, and you just put it in front of you and pretend like you're saying goodbye to someone, and it like
tragic.
repulses the men. But isn't it sad that like that's something that actually makes sense? And we're like, oh my god, what a good idea. Maybe I should carry around
Yeah.
an urn to scare away the hordes of men that, you know, I have no reason to talk
You have
to.
to laugh about it. It's just
You do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do.
No.
But
How does that affect your planning when you're going out?
I
Does
do
it
think
affect your
about
plans?
I know that I'm gonna wear like a certain clothes. Like when I have friends staying at my place, I would dress up a bit more differently than when I go alone and when I know I'm coming back alone home. And I've done that since I moved to Paris, and I've been here for over 7 years. So
I don't do that.
Yeah, me neither.
Because
I get
even if I feel the impulse to dress differently, I go like, screw that, I'm not giving into that, I'm going out in these clothes, and then when I come back I'm really uncomfortable. Because I've gone out.
And I think that's what
Right,
we should do.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm so like
nervous.
I watched so many episodes of Law and Order and Criminal Minds that I'm just brainwashed.
Don't want
That's
to be
it.
that girl.
Do you think that's why girls in Paris don't, like, no one dresses up when they go out? Like,
No, I don't think
no
that's
one
the
I
reason.
don't think that's why.
heels,
No.
Okay.
I think
Not
that
even China,
Yeah.
it's just sort of
enjoy
like a
that.
very like cool.
That's
thing.
another video,
Okay,
Jay.
okay.
Whenever you want to talk about this, we're
But I
happy
sympathize
to
for
talk
the
about
girls in there.
it. I had a situation once when I was going from Saint Michel, which is a very central area, over to my place, and I was biking. No, I was walking. There was a guy who was biking next to me. And he started talking to me, and I was like, it was 2 a.m., it was a warm summer night, everybody was out, there were so many people out. And he started talking to me, and I'm like, okay, thank you, okay, bye, okay, thank you. And I mean, he just continued talking about life. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything weird, but I was just like, I'm not looking at you, just go away. And we finally reached my place, and I was like, okay, I really don't want this guy to know where I live.
Right.
So I went further a bit, and he's still talking to me, and I'm like, listen, I feel very uncomfortable. Like, it's 2 a.m., you're walking with me. I actually really don't feel like knowing you that you know more about me. And he just stopped, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. And he just like rode away. No, he was probably in the flirt of his lifetime, right? And I was just like, I'm like, this
how
is
hard is it
weird.
to tell when someone doesn't want to talk to you?
Yeah.
And he's
It's
like,
so
okay, sorry.
easy.
So she just went, and I walked further, went around the block, because I said there are so many people in the street. So I knew that if something happened, but at
Right.
that point, my concern was that, like, I don't know where this guy will know where I'm living. And I was like, I don't want that.
No, you don't want that. I have a friend who lives in a very like small, rich French town, pretty much. And in this tiny little town where I lived there for a year, no, it's Angers. I lived there for a year. It was very safe. Even she was followed home one night, and he got into her building and followed her upstairs and was knocking on her door. And she was fine.
Yeah,
She
that's
had
why I
to
said
get
at
out,
the
but,
beginning,
like,
it can happen
yeah,
anywhere.
exactly.
The
It's
thing it
just,
can happen, I think, I know we were talking about Paris, but I've had these experiences happen to me absolutely everywhere in the world.
absolutely,
So
yeah.
I just find the day-to-day catcalling and stuff is a bit more.
right.
Yeah, they're more
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
They're more interested in
Verbal harassment. Yes, but I've also never lived in this big city before, so I don't know how it compares to New York, London, LA.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
I mean, when I'm back home, like it's a 500,000 people city, my mom is like, still like, take a cab home.
Yeah.
It's like, don't walk around being brave. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Which is, it's sad, but it's the world we live in. Like, it's better to actually jump into a cab and go home and just like, than to walk. But like, Paris is such a walkable city
No,
that
I
it just
always
makes
walk.
sense.
I
I
walk
always
like
walk
in the
as
morning.
well. I
Yeah,
always
I
walk
bike
as well.
everywhere,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Or a bike, yeah, exactly.
I feel much safer on a bike, because I know I can just scooch on.
Yeah, but
Although I do get a lot of the cat calls, like more cat calls when I'm on a bike. than
yeah,
when
because
I'm
they're
not.
like, oh, look at those legs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got that once from a lady. And I was like, lady, this is inappropriate. I mean, and she was like calling me out because I was in like knee-length skirt. I was like, I thought this is France. I mean,
It wasn't like a nice, like, you look great today.
No.
Oh,
She was
okay.
like,
Okay.
she was like,
Because I'll be like, your butt looks great, you know, but in a nice
No.
way.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
it wasn't a short skirt. It was like a normal length. I was like, what? Did you just call me a slut? That being said, just to like, I guess, finish on a positive note, I really think like not talking to the people who are like verbally harassing, just like ignoring them, they do not exist, and like just being actually serious at that point and like being present. I think being present really helps, because I feel that like people who are walking around, when there's somebody with a photo, like taking photos around, obviously you're going to take photos around, but like look around yourself. Who is around yourself? Because that people, like just like be present, and then I think that's, I think you'll do fine.
How many years have you been in Paris? 7?
Yeah, over
4.
7 years.
How many years have you been here?
2?
Okay, so 7 plus 5 is 12, so 12 collective years among us, and that's the extent of our horror stories. So I would close on the fact that Paris is a very safe city. Obviously, you talk to some women who have had horrifying experiences.
Yeah.
Of course, people have been attacked, assaulted, all
In the
of that.
metro,
Of
in the
course.
streets, like.
But
Yeah, but it happens
it's
everywhere.
not. It happens no more here than it does in other places. Speaking as a woman with a lot of women friends who go out.
Yeah.
They go out. I don't want to go to bed. They go out. And yeah.
So I would say come to Paris, do your thing, have a great time. And you might get a bit bothered, or you might not, but just like anywhere really. Yeah, it's not enough to deter you from coming.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Emily just ran to the
Oh,
bathroom.
and if you wanna-
So bored. And anyways, this is Sonia's book, which you've seen before. We're gonna do a giveaway. For those of you that are interested in vlog style content, I'll give you a summary of my day at the end of this. Don't worry. But would you open that for us and tell
I
us?
will.
Just give us a quick summary. What is that book?
So what
Sonia?
my girlfriends told me came out last year, and it's a book on, I gather advices of different women in my life, and I put them in one book. I illustrated this as well, so you have a bunch of drawings like this. I'm hoping this tiny little pink book will bring you joy, and it will make you laugh. I generally try to stick to those advices because my friends are very wise people, but sometimes it's hard, and the book is there to remind me of those advices, and I'm sure you can find yourself in those as well.
If you'd like to win a copy of Sonia's book, all you need to do is write down your favorite advice that one of your girlfriends has told you in the comments below, and Sonia will go through in a few days and pick her favorite She'll connect with you, she'll get your information from you, and then her publisher will ship you a copy of the book. Happy International Women's Day, ladies. I'm really, really glad that you exist. Thanks for even watching my channel. Now, for those of you that were concerned that you missed out on other parts of the vlog, here's what happened today.
I'm starting the day with a pan of chocolat, which I'm on my way to get as quickly as I can because I'm also up very early to go on a podcast, The Motherboard Guys. I will link to it below. Feel free to check them out. I don't know how long it's going to be until they post it, but shouldn't be too long.
Okay, scratch that. We got our dates mixed up, so I'm actually... It's supposed to be tomorrow. Oh, I also just switched cameras. We'll see how this works. Putting the Pixel to use here a little bit. Gotta get to a meeting. Had a meeting at Fringe with Jeff, which went super well. A quick taco lunch at Candelaria. They're always changing their menu. It's so tasty. Found a new invader. That's nice. Et voila. And Bon Esprit is in the game. We got gyoza. And now I'm back. We're all caught up. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for yet more wonderful parts of Paris. Beautiful women, handsome men, coffee. Tomorrow's going to be a coffee day with Fox, who's in the game. And the game information is coming very soon. I'm really excited to finally tell you about it. All right, see you tomorrow.